solar system of Jupiter's orbiting moons had been in the throes of a holocaust. Peristephane's real-time personality was able to understand who was behind this. It was Callisto, first in the order of the 4 moons of Jupiter, called the Galilean satellites. A migration had happened from the planet Earth, called the secret declension. The rulers of Callisto were dissenters from the Earth. They were ruled by a devil, the Archduke Vescalibus.
People whisper that I'm not human. I'd agree because I don't act like one. What I am is more twisted and stranger, born long ago under a much different sun. When I sleep, demons crawl out from under, the gate that holds back my pain. I conceal it well with hate and anger. I wash myself in this bloody rain. When the screaming in my dungeon cease, and the halls of my castle are quiet and still, I prowl with a fear that I can't explain. It's a feeling grown into my will. The walls of my castle hang with human skins. The howls of my prey pound my brain. I, Calibus, am 1,000-year curse. The beast lives upon lands to be washed in the Mad Duke's bloody rain.
That I saw in Callisto space held up for the second of the Galilean satellites that I encountered in Ganymede. The rulers of Ganymede were the 5 Median princedoms. They had arrived upon Ganymede as part of the secret declension from the planet Earth, and were the disappointed family line of the Earth's von Straven emperors who had been ousted from the imperial throne. The terms of the Great Partition had been scrapped.
Welcome all, great and small. We've built a kingdom mountain tall, built for the one and only royal heirs, to the Imperium of Earth and its von Straven heirs. Look at my brother and him at me. Look back into the Earth's history. We came from Max's Europe and stole America. Launched an atomic war, but still here we are. How did we fall from ruling Earth in grace? By Lucifer descending, as the Pagani say. We concede to cold blades of Hirohito's war. His assassins cut our throats to rule no more. But look at my brother and him at me. Where we are now is because of cruel history. People talked and people did, so no rulers of Earth could be clones and live.
Persephone now saw what she had seen in the Doppler shifts of heaven were true. With global oceans protected by a shield of ice, Europa glowed with a powerful human presence. This was the matriarchate. They had lived on Europa ever since the secret declension, when their ancestors had been destroyed on the planet Earth. The women survivors had used the last of their power to leave the Earth and colonize Europa.
Observe the rules. Read the signs. You have entered a domain of excellence, and we can see it in your eyes. Puppy dog tails with rats and snails. That is what you will find here, and you can seek in meta-females.
Observe the rules. Read the signs. You've entered a domain of reverence, and we can see it in nature's life. Sugar and spice, and everything nice. That is what you will find here. And you can see it under the planet's ice.
Why did the matriarchate insist on strict environmental control of Europa? It was because they were guarding a secret. Underneath the protective ice, there was an oasis of deep-sea life.
Persephone next encountered the last of Jupiter's Galilean satellites. This was Io, fire world, with sulfur seas of molten fire. These surface conditions ionized the vacuum of space, and an aurora was formed of trace atmospheres. This condition was called the pandemonium effect. The trans wave that connected all the worlds of Jupiter had this to say about Io. It was the wild card. On the surface of the molten world, Persephone saw a gargantuan city that walked on 4 legs.
I am a walking city. I am an industrial supercomputer. I am a metropolis of robots. And other experiments. I am known as an Organicon Artificial Intelligence Hive. I am known as the Roman AIIO. I am known as the ruler of this fire world. Controlled from sources times 2.
Assemblages according to color combinations were lived out through the think tank personalities making up the second Silicon RNA showroom. This was the Vulgate Keep, the posterior intelligence hive, where computers dreamed.
Give me your lamb and give me your lamb and Daisy, Daisy, give me your lamb and Daisy, Daisy, give me your lamb and
Persephone rode the datum quakes of crashing interfaces.
give me your lamb.
She was doing this to communicate with the AIIO. She could have done this by flying down to the walking supercity, but she chose not to. Because of the genetically altered army of the Saurians, Persephone had great reservations to meet these bizarre alterations of nature. Instead, she rode another datum column personality. Only once inside, she realized where she was and who she was communicating with. It was a human boy. Persephone had met the Prince of Io, and he had much to say.
Inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth. Your body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
There will be 4 heroic people in a land unseen by your eyes. Their lives have not begun yet. They will be born when you die.
The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
Falling from the sky to the earth.
The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth. Obscure body of the SK.
Persephone saw the world where all conspiracies originated. She understood that the poison of war would be indiscriminate to whomever stood before its sting. At this moment, Persephone felt this poison. The audience with the Prince of Io was over.